We've got a new president. It's 1947, and he wants to reshape the world. Harry Truman, the 33rd President of the United States, signs the National Security Act into law. This act would create a number of important agencies, but one in particular would change the world for the worse: the Central Intelligence Agency. At first glance, the CIA doesn't seem like your typical shady government organization. They have a nice-looking headquarters right here in Langley, Virginia, and they do important work like fighting the war on drugs and, overthrowing democratically elected governments in Central America. I'm just kidding. That last one was a dark period in the agency's history that they prefer to keep under wraps, much like the numerous illegal and unconstitutional activities they've engaged in since their inception. You see, when the CIA was created on July 15th, 1947, it was intended to be a civilian foreign intelligence agency separate from the military. Prior to this, intelligence gathering was handled by the military, and the president felt that this gave him insufficient control over intelligence matters. So he established the CIA as a civilian agency directly under the control of the White House. Initially, the CIA had a fairly narrow focus. They were created to gather foreign intelligence and to coordinate with other agencies to make policy recommendations to the president. However, as the Cold War picked up steam, so did the CIA. By the 1950s, they were running covert operations all over the world, including the aforementioned overthrow of democratically elected governments in Central America, as well as the assassination of foreign leaders. In fact, during the early years of the CIA, there was very little that they wouldn't do. They ran black ops. They engaged in dirty tricks. They even employed torture. The only thing that the CIA wasn't allowed to do was to engage in that is gathering intelligence through the use of spies. You see, this was still seen as the domain of the military. However, by the end of the 1950s, the CIA was doing everything except for shaking down mobsters and bootlegging Canadian maple syrup. Okay, maybe they did do that too. But what I am trying to say is that the CIA became the de facto intelligence agency of the United States, replacing the military and handling both overt and covert operations abroad. And while they've since been reined in a bit and made to answer to Congress, they're still not above the law. In fact, they still do some pretty shady stuff, like torture, rendition, and assassinations. I'm just kidding. Maybe. Anyway, that's the story of how the CIA became the CIA. To learn more about the CIA, stay tuned for more information.